This video is going to cover dividing decimals by other decimals. Again, this is now the fourth section on our note sheet. So we're going to go ahead and look at that part first. It's the bottom right-hand corner of your note sheet there. So we're going to start with filling out our notes and then go into a couple examples. So first it says move the decimal point in the divisor and the dividend until the divisor is a whole number. So now here, divisor and dividend, those are two vocabulary words that we use when we're dividing numbers. So when we go ahead and set this problem up, I will go over which one is the divisor and which one's the dividend, just to make sure we remember. We're going to go ahead on with our notes then. It says place the decimal point in the quotient above. So once you've moved your decimal place and it's done moving, you're going to move it straight up into your quotient, which is the answer to a division problem. So it says place the decimal point in the quotient above the point in the dividend. And then lastly, divide as you would divide whole numbers. So once you've moved your decimal place, and that's going to be the first step, and it's already in place, then you just divide like you normally would, ignore that a decimal place is even there. So here we have 88 hundredths divided by 1 and 6 tenths. We're going to go ahead and set that up with our division house. So now here, before we get started, our divisor is a number that we're dividing by. So that's actually this 1.6 here. Our dividend, I like to think like end, it's the end number. So our dividend is the number inside of our division house. So since our divisor is not a whole number right now, there's that decimal, that's 6 tenths. We need to move our decimal place to the right however many times we need to make that outside number a whole number. So here we only need to swoop it once to the right to make that 16. And whatever we do to this outside number, we have to do to our inside number. So we're going to swoop that once. And since we're done moving our decimal, that decimal place goes straight up into our dividend. So now basically what we're doing is seeing how many times 16 can go into this 8.8. So 16 can go into 8 0 times. Bring down your second 8. And then we have to see how many times 16 can go into 88. This one may not be something you know right off the top of your head, so you may have to take a guess there. So here it actually goes in 5 times. So 5 times, or 16, excuse me, is 80. We still have 8 left as our remainder, but we don't want a remainder. We want to keep dividing until this ends. So we're going to actually add a 0 to the end of our dividend. So we can drop that down. And then we just did this one actually. So 16 goes into 80 5 times evenly, and we are left with no remainder. So our final answer here is 55 hundredths. So we're going to go ahead and try that with one more practice problem. So go ahead and squeeze that one on your note sheet as well. We've got 18 and 2 tenths divided by 1 and 4 tenths. So we're going to go ahead and set that up. So here again, our divisor, that outside number, is not a whole number. We have to take this decimal place, move it to the right until it is a whole number. Here we only have to swoop it once. So again, we swoop it once in our dividend and bring our decimal straight up. And then we are just going to divide like normal. So 14 can't go into 1, but 14 can go into 18 one time. We get 4. Then we're going to bring down our 2. And we're going to see how many times 14 can go into 42. And we're going to have that 3 times. So 3 times 4 gives us 12. And we actually get a whole number here. So our final answer is 13. If you put 13 and 0 tenths, like 13.0, that's also fine. But since there aren't any decimals here, we don't really need to add that decimal place. So 13 would be our answer. If you were to give me that 0.0, that is not incorrect. So either one would be good here. So again, really quickly, just kind of going over those dividing decimal rules. Once you set up your decimal division, make sure your outside number or your divisor is a whole number. Move that decimal however many times you need to. Do that exact same amount of movement on your dividend, bring your decimal straight up, and then divide like normal.